Hi, I'm Brian King, and this is the introduction video for my new YouTube channel called Husband Lessons. Now, I've known for a long time that there's a need for something like this. Right now, if you look at our culture, most of the advice out there is not really helpful to men for how to have a good marriage or even have a great marriage. I've been married for 38 years, and over time, we've had our ups and downs, but we put effort in. And we developed a good marriage from that effort. And then we took it a step further. We put more effort in and ended up having a great marriage. Now, a lot of people will look at somebody who has a great marriage and say, you're lucky. Half the people don't ever find that right person and make a good marriage. The other half get lucky and some aren't. Well, if that were truly the case, then I wouldn't have a lot to talk about. But the fact is, the same things that are tearing people's marriages apart that we see every day are the exact same problems that my wife and I had to work through. It's the same thing. The only difference is we put the effort in, we worked through them, and got to the other side and ended up with a good marriage. And then we put more effort in and ended up with an even better marriage. We have a great marriage now. And, I find it kind of offensive when people say we're just lucky. No, we put work in. We did the hard work and got the right results. Now, actually, I say hard work, but, marriage really isn't that hard. It can be hard if you steer it in the wrong direction. You can have a very hard marriage if you continuously do the wrong things and steer your marriage in the wrong direction. But marriage is dynamic. What I mean by that is it has a life of its own, and you get more out than the effort you put in because there's two of you. Now think about it this way. If I take a tractor, put a brush mower on it, I can go clear an entire field in a very short amount of time with very little effort. All I got to do is steer the tractor, engage the PTO, and I can clean things up really quick, get a lot of work done. But that same tractor, if I steer it in the wrong direction with the brush mower going, it's going to take out the roses and the azaleas and the rhododendron and the other plants I don't know what they are, and the blueberry bushes, and I'm going to knock over the tool shed, and it's going to be horrible. Why? Because the tractor has a lot of power. There's a lot of power in that tractor. Now, marriage is very similar to that. You can put a little bit of effort in and get a big result on the other side. If you turn it in the wrong direction, you're going to have problems. You're going to tear things up really fast, and it's going to be really bad. But if you take that same effort and put it in the right direction, you can fix things. Now, you might have to buy some roses and some azaleas, but that's all replaceable. You can have a good marriage, and I don't think that message is out there right now. As a matter of fact, most people think that if things start to go bad, that there's no way to get out of it. Well, there definitely is. You just have to steer in the right direction over a long enough period of time, and you will come out on the other side. So marriage isn't that hard if you keep doing consistently the right things and moving in the right direction. Now, a lot of people, including myself, think that marriage is a very private thing and that they shouldn't have to go outside the marriage to get information. And if that's the case, then why would we do that? Well, why not? Why not get the help? Why not? Now, yes, marriage is very private. The problem is it can be a private paradise or it can be a private hell. If it's a private hell for you, why not get some help? Why not make a change, do something different, and see if you can turn that tractor around and get going in the right direction. Now, what I'm going to do, my plan, and I'm new to YouTube, but my plan is to post 3 times a week. I'm going to start with what I'm going to call Marriage Mondays, first day of the week, great time to start something new. And it's just going to be kind of the nuts and bolts things that are required to have a good marriage. And like I said, it's not that hard. You just got to be, you're going to put effort in one way or another. It takes a lot of effort to fight, you know. You're already putting a lot of effort in, so why not get better results? You're just going to have to change a few things. So Marriage Mondays, I'm going to talk about some of the things that I had to learn the hard way about marriage, things that I had to change, and things that I had to grow through. And the result for me was I took the potentially bad marriage and made a good marriage, and then I made a potentially only good marriage into a great marriage. So Marriage Mondays is really nuts and bolts. And then I'm going to do Winning Wednesdays. And this whole concept of winning at marriage, I'm not talking about winning the next fight you have with your wife. What I'm talking about is actually winning at marriage. You know, you can win at marriage. You can have a good marriage. You know, it's kind of going to be midweek encouragement. You know, the problem with a lot of marriages is they're not only not winning, they're taking a really long time to lose. Why would you do that? Make some changes. You don't want to be 20 years down the road and you know, the kids are all grown, and then it's like you're looking at that person, you don't even know who they are because you've been so distant over time. Why not put the effort in? So Winning Wednesdays is going to explore the whole concept of the ability and the possibility of actually winning at marriage and having a great marriage. You've already invested a lot of time and effort. Why not win too, instead of just taking a long time to lose? And then I'm going to be posting 5 Things Friday. It's right before the weekend. Somebody once told me that if you have a whole bunch of random things on a topic that you want to put together, just put it in a list of like 5 things and then organize it like that and present it. So I'm going to try that. It's kind of my first thought was you can't keep doing that because you're going to run out of 5 things. So we'll see how many Fridays I get. But that's going to be light and kind of maybe some humor in there and a little bit of something to kind of get your weekend started right and give you some ideas for making your marriage even better. And you know, the value of a good marriage is immense. People don't really realize that. How much value do you place on your marriage? If you have a good marriage, you have something that some of the richest people in the world don't have. Your marriage is extremely valuable. So why not make it good? If you have a bad marriage, why not work at it and make it a good marriage? It'll be worth even more. And if you have a good marriage, why not watch and enjoy and even take it to the next level? I'm still trying to go to the next level. I want to have not just a good marriage or a great marriage, I want to have an extraordinary marriage. Why? Because it's available. You can keep, there's no limit. So that's what I'm going to be working on. That's my plan. That's what I'm going to try to do. I am very new to YouTube. I know you guys all understand the like, share, and subscribe stuff. I'm going to be figuring that out. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for listening.